the Body Electric Supplement. It is here that you supercharge your life. All right, so I'm just popping over to my home real quick to pick up some things. Um, right now, my channel has kind of changed a little bit, but it's all still the same. It's about biohacking, wellness, um, a touch of woo woo, if you like, but a lot of science at the same time. So I call this Feed Your Brain, Feed Your Mind. And one of the things I've learned over the years of my self study and discovery is that there's two things when it comes to what's up here. There's the brain and there is the mind. Okay? Those are two different things. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. So the brain is the pink, squishy tissue thing. And the mind is the energy and the, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good wording for this. It's the essence of what it does. The essence of what it does. Like the electricity. That's why I call my channel electric. All right. So it's the energy. So you got to feed the energy and you got to feed the tissue. So the tissue part, to me, that can be very easy for a lot of people, or it can be difficult. That just is the nutrition part, as in food, rest, water. Okay, food, rest, water. Our brains are fatty tissue. So foods that are healthy fats are good for you. Notice I said healthy fats. So that's things like avocados, coconut and coconut oil, olive oil, but be very careful with that. Okay. I wouldn't rely on a package of something that says good for you. If they have to advertise that it's good for you, then you have to be like, really? How good is it? So make sure you nourish your your brain with nutrition, proper nutrition. Okay. Whether you're a meat eater or omnivore or plant-based, I'm going down the line to vegetarian to vegan, there are ways to feed your brain healthy fats. Healthy fats. And you do need them because your brain is mostly that. Okay. So I did an experiment on myself almost 10 years ago. After I did that research, I was scared. I'm not going to lie. I was having such brain fog that it just really was like to the point where I had to do something, try something. And I tried the experiment. I've talked about it before on this channel. And it was almost like 20 minutes after I did what I did. And my brain felt better. It was like sun came out, clouds lifted, brain fog nearly gone. And that was because of the nutrition part. And the things you want to stay away from as much as possible is processed foods and sugary, unnatural sugared foods. Okay? Because that is the new, a lot of the doctors are saying diabetes is the new cancer. It is. In the last 150, and again, I've said this on my channel, 150 to 200 years, the newest, deadliest set of diseases are due to our metabolism. Sorry, I'm right driving over these bumps. Due to our metabolism and our eating habits. Fruit, and again, I've said this on my channel before, fruit has been, the word is husbandry, been genetically modified over the years to be more sweet. Okay, on purpose, because sugar for children, and yeah, I'm jumping all over the place. I don't want to go too far into this, but sugar in excess is not good for us. Okay, so limit that sugar. Truly and truly limit the sugar. Sometimes how somebody's asking how, lean into what doesn't have sugar in it. Natural foods, so vegetables, vegetables and some grains. And again, you kind of have to be careful with the grains. So vegetables, grains. If you are a meat eater, lean meats or healthy fatty meats like salmon. Trying to think of another healthy fatty meat. Some people, and again, this is for the meat eaters out there, organ meats, be careful of those. Livers are great. Organ meats have lots of nutrients in them. How you cook them as well is important. So you got to get rid of those bad oils. Like canola is the worst. It is the worst oil you could put on your food in your mouth. Okay. I really do want to sit down and have that discussion about certain, like the history of certain foods and why we have them. Y'all would be shocked. You'd be shocked as to how and why certain things came into being. Certain foods that are on the shelves that people say, oh, let's buy this or whatever. So stay away from the bad oils, stay away from the sugars if you can. And again, look at the labels. Anything that has an OS at the end, like OSE spelling, that's a sugar. So don't let them fool you. The sugars, it affects your brain. And then the oils, the healthy ones, support your brain. Okay, so I'm going to kind of try to leave it at that with the nutrition part. I don't want to say it's up to you to cultivate your diet. I can provide like a listing of the good things that are inexpensive. That's another thing. I know a lot of people say it costs too much. Oh, someone from Africa. Hello. Hi, I'm so grateful. So it's not, I think it's a myth that a lot of people say it's too expensive to eat healthy. Ask yourself this, and this is what I asked myself when I was poor. It's like, how expensive is it to go eat a bunch of processed snacks and then 2 years later you're in the hospital? How expensive is the hospital in the United States? It's pretty expensive. So you got to invest in your health in a lot of ways. Okay? So invest in your overall health. And it really isn't as hard as you think it is. Then there's another aspect that a lot of people are starting to get into. If you watch Dr. Jason Fung, he supports intermittent fasting. He says, now if you watch him, he will say most of the religions practice fasting. So some of you who are religious, you already know. You take those days of fasting, and it clears your mind, your brain. Okay, there is science behind that. So even if you say, oh, it costs too much to eat healthy, how about you do some fasting and it won't cost you anything, and you can save the money to buy healthy foods. Okay, so getting into intermittent fasting, and the intermittent part means there's a time in the day that you just don't eat food. And think about the times where we just mindlessly eat. Like if you're sitting at home at the end of the day and you're watching a show and you're just snacking, you're not hungry. You're just eating. It's a habit. It's a habit. You don't have to eat. Okay? You're consuming calories at the same time. That's not good for your stomach. It's not good for your mind. All of that stuff. So yeah, think about those things. So that's the brain aspect. And then I'm just going to quickly touch on the mind aspect. When we do things, and I say this a lot, gossip, I just don't see any redeeming quality in gossip. I really don't. And then, yeah, because you're talking about other people behind their back, and why do you need to know their their business anyway? Like, how is that life-giving? It's not. You could be reading a book, or you can be watching a documentary. You can be feeding your mind. You can be learning a new language. You could be learning how to juggle, or anything. Like, lean into what your interest could be, or be curious about building yourself in your mind. Okay? So those are the things. Learning actually increases the neurons in your mind. I know this as a teacher. I teach my littles how they learn. Okay? So I know this. I've been doing this for 19 years and doing the wellness for 10. Like, I will say more intensely for 10 years because I had my health scare. But I think it is important for us to feed our brains properly and feed our minds. Okay? I don't want to say properly because everybody's, thing is different. But think about, is it something life-giving? Gossip isn't one of those. Okay? So gossip is not life-giving in my opinion. And leaning into hobbies, curiosities, as in, ooh, I wonder where, I don't know, how do we get like silk from, so those kinds of things. That's what I'm saying about mind, feeding your mind. Okay. Um, so yeah, so right now, like I said, I'm running an errand really quick. I might come back on here in the next couple of minutes, quite honestly, and talk more about the mind. But yeah, the brain, in order for the brain, in order for the mind to do what it could do, you got to feed the brain first. Nourish the brain with healthy food, unprocessed. Lean into the healthy fats. Lean out of the artificial sugars and look at those labels. The OSE, OSE, is a sugar. Don't be fooled. All right, and with that, I say take care. Wink.